welcome back to my channel. I'm Kenya, world traveling boy mom. If you're new here, today I want to share my experience of what it was like to have a baby abroad. So let's get into it. I've been asked a few questions from people on the internet on just how my experience went, what it was like, what the step-by-step process was, and so I'm going to answer a few questions that I've gotten from you guys. Okay, so the first question is, can you introduce yourself and tell us where you're from? So I was originally born in Alabama, but I was raised in Georgia, Conyers, Georgia to be exact. I moved there when I was a little girl, and so when most people ask, I just say I'm from Georgia. Another question was, what country did you have your baby in, and what led you to be there during your pregnancy? Ooh, okay. So I had my baby out here in Mexico. I'm in Mexico right now. I had my baby in Merida, Mexico. And what led me to be there during my pregnancy? What's crazy is I always said that I wanted to have a baby in another country. Look at him. I always said I wanted to have a baby in another country anyways, and because I always wanted to do a citizenship for my kids. I always saw that for myself, and so once I found out I was pregnant, it was just perfect that I chose Mexico. And another question was, why did you choose Mexico? I chose Mexico because honestly, I want to learn Spanish. I love the culture, I love the food, I love the people. And Mexico was a 2-hour flight from Texas, where I was living at the time. And so it was just convenient. And I love Mexico. Like, I always tell people I want to live there for a while so that I could immerse myself in the culture and really learn Spanish. So also, Mexico has a, birthright citizenship. So if you have your baby in Mexico, your baby does get citizenship, and then the parents get permanent residency. So that's why I chose Mexico. It was either Mexico or Brazil, and Brazil was a 10-hour flight. So Mexico it was. So some people were asking, how was your prenatal care in the country compared to what you're used to back home? And I would say literally it was the same. It's the same technology. What I will say here, that the doctors are more like personal, or they have a more personalized relationship with you. I could text my doctor at 12 o'clock at night if I needed to. And they text me to check on me, to check on the baby. Yeah, so prenatal care was literally the same. But I will say it's more intimate, or it's more personalized here. And I did enjoy that. So at my 20-week appointment in the U.S., I found out that I had a IUGR baby, which is uterine growth restriction. My baby was measuring really small throughout my pregnancy. And I wasn't going to come to Mexico, but I decided to come just to see if once I got here they confirmed it. You know, I wanted to see if the U.S. was really telling the truth or not. Because they be wrong sometimes. So I came here, and they did confirm that he was measuring small. They even told me that maybe I should go back home to give birth, because they didn't know if he would need NICU time. And then NICU time, they were thinking like maybe he would have to be in there for 2 to 3 months. And they were like expecting him to be in NICU for a while because he was measuring so small. So once my doctor told me I might as well just go back home to give birth because the cost could exceed $12,000, I booked a flight back home and was in the bed crying for about 3 days because I did not want to leave. This is what I really wanted to do. I wanted to be here in Mexico. I already had my plan mapped out. And then when he told me that, I was just shattered. So what I did was called everybody, called my family, and I just prayed. I told God, I'm like, I give this pregnancy to you. I don't know what's going to happen, but I know I don't want to leave. Actually, what I did was I actually went to the airport, tried to get on the flight, and they denied me for the flight. And so it all worked out in the grand scheme of things. But my cat didn't have the right documents to go back home. So my cat really saved us being here. Thank you, Ash. If you see this, I'm joking. The next, let's say I'm going to put the next 3 questions in together, which is, did you feel supported through your pregnancy? Were there any language barriers? And was the hospital private or public? And I would say yes, I was supported. There is a group of women in Merida that were pregnant at the same time as me. There's midwives, there's doulas. The midwife and doula situation is it's a whole nother story within itself because all I'm gonna say is don't get bamboozled by them. Do your research and follow your gut when it comes to choosing a doula or a midwife. That's all I can say about that one. So I did feel supported. It just felt good being here. I just felt relaxed being here anyways. My doctor was really sweet. The OB/GYN team, because I had to do, fetal care appointments every week. So the doctors were really nice. Everybody had great customer service. They treat you no different. Now there is a language barrier if you don't know Spanish, but there's always Google Translate. And some of them, like my doctor, speaks English. So did some other people, like the fetal care doctor. She spoke a little English, and if you don't know anything, either one of you could just pull out Google Translate and it all works out. The hospital that I chose was a local hospital because the private hospital, my doctor didn't really want me going to because they don't have a good NICU. And so he chose a local hospital because the NICU was really good and they were expecting my son to be in NICU for up to 4 weeks or more, right? So I chose a local hospital and my experience went so well. I'm gonna add like a clip in of the hospital and just me being in there and like what it would be like.
Sí, me dijo Guzmán. Sí, no, es que brazo. Sí, sí, doctora. Así ya queda más.
So I would rate the whole thing a 9 out of 10. And the only reason I'm rating it a 9 out of 10 is because after I had to have a C-section, and after my C-section, I had to leave literally the next day at like noon. And I really wanted to stay like 2 days, maybe, because I feel like a C-section is major surgery. But they're so used to women having C-sections down here that maybe they don't see it that way. So yeah, the next day after my C-section, I did have to leave the hospital and go home. So another question I got was, what was the birth experience like? Let's see here. So in my birth, I told you I had to have a C-section. So in my birth, they let my friend come in and literally record everything from start to finish. She got all the footage of the birth, and she was in there. They were okay with her recording everything. Any cultural differences in how labor and delivery were handled? I would say everybody spoke Spanish at the hospital except for my doctor. My doctor probably was the only one that spoke English, but he made sure that I was well taken care of. All the nurses were so nice, like very welcoming and warm. I give that for sure a 10 out of 10. What else? The C-section, they do the C-section literally the same way they do it in the States. And it says, was your partner or support person allowed in the delivery room? Yes. Yeah, the whole birth experience just went smooth. I felt really calm, like comfortable, even though everybody spoke Spanish. I spoke English, it was a smooth transition. I knew what was going on the whole time. They were really friendly. What was the process like for registering your baby's birth in that country? So after you give birth, you get your birth certificate before you leave the hospital. And then I hired somebody to literally do the part of register my baby as a citizen, for getting my permanent residency, and also getting my baby's Mexican passport. I will link her information in the description below. But yeah, she did everything. She booked the appointments. She got all the paperwork printed out for me. She took me to all the appointments she is a relocation specialist. And so from beginning to end, she did everything. So kudos to her, because I didn't know what I was doing, and I don't speak Spanish. She speaks Spanish, and she helped me with the whole process. And so, yeah, I'll link her information. She was a godsend. Her attitude's great. She's perfect. So if you're having a baby in Merida, I would highly recommend her. Definitely reach out to her, because you won't have to do anything but just show up to your appointments. Another question, was, did having a baby there affect your residency or immigration status? No, but what it does allow you to get permanent residency in Mexico if you do decide to have a baby in Mexico. And that's what I wanted. That was my sole purpose of even having a baby outside the country anyways. It also allows my baby to have dual citizenship. So he got his Mexican passport and then get your American passport, so he can be a U.S. citizen afterward. You will have to go to the U.S. Embassy to register your baby's birth so that you can get the American passport after you get the Mexican passport. Next up is cost and insurance. All right, so what's having a baby more affordable than in your home country? I'm gonna just say this. The U.S. could never. I'm just playing. Okay, was it more affordable? Yes. Should I give you the cost right now? Or should I wait to the end of the video? So, did you have insurance, and did it cover most of the costs? And then, can you give a ballpark figure of what the cost was to have a baby abroad? Okay, let's start with the insurance part. So, I did have insurance in the U.S., but now that, I'm outside of the U.S., my insurance did not cover me having a baby abroad in Mexico. And then a ballpark figure, I'm just going to tell you what it was, because it's actually crazy. The cost for everything for having my baby out here in Mexico, it was $1,000 for the hospital stay and $2,500 for all the doctors and the C-section. The U.S. could never. Okay, so how was your postpartum care and support after giving birth? Let's see, my postpartum care, I was able to hire a night nurse, and I was able to hire a chef. The chef, I was able to get 3 meals a week for like $80, not including groceries. And then my night nurse, she came 3 days out the week for $50 a night, right? And so I found my night nurse, Carla. Shout out to Carla. I found her, actually, she was my baby's nurse at the hospital. And I literally asked her, I'm like, she treated my baby so good. She was so sweet that I was like, can you please come home with me? I asked her, I'm so serious. I'm like, please, do you do night nursing? And she didn't. I begged and pleaded for her to come, and she did. And so now she's TC Carla for my baby. The Relocation Specialist that I was talking about earlier, her name is Melanie. She also helps you find night nurses as well. But if you want my night nurse's information, because I'm telling you, she's so sweet, she's so good with babies. If you want her information, just let me know too, because she was amazing. Next question is, what has it been like raising a baby in this country so far? Let me say this. They absolutely love babies. Everywhere I go, they're stopping like, oh, chiquito, pequeño. Like, men, women, old, elderly, abuelitas, abuelos, like all of them, they love babies. Like, they want to stop you, talk to you for a while, ask how old. They just love babies. And I love that for my son. They want to touch on your baby, and I don't like that. Like, I don't agree with that, especially if he's a newborn. It's normally like the older women. They'll want to touch the baby's cheek or grab his hand. And it's like germs. He's a tiny baby. So that's the only thing. But I had support, and I had a lot of help. I wasn't going to be able to do it by myself. So I definitely called my mom. My friend was here. I had my night nurse. You know what I'm saying? Because me doing it alone, and I'm just learning like breastfeeding and having a baby that's C-section, having a baby that he was 4 pounds when he was born. Like all of that was a lot. And so I definitely needed a support system. So I called my mom. My mom is here. She's actually behind the camera. Look, she's out here helping me, okay? Because I would not have been able to do this alone. And some women come out here and they do it alone. And kudos to y'all. Y'all are real MVP. But baby, I needed some help. And another thing. The question is, what do you wish you had known before moving abroad or having a baby abroad? And the only thing that I wish I would have did more of was learn Spanish. I hate not knowing the language all the way. Like, I am learning now that I'm here. I'm picking up on it more and more every day. But I wish I would have like really studied it more before I came. And I did study it a little bit, poquito, pequeño. But it's not enough. But before I leave here, I'm going to be at least conversational. And then what advice would you give someone else considering giving birth abroad? Well, number one, I would say join the Facebook groups. There's like Facebook groups all on Facebook about like being black and married or giving birth abroad, or just join the different Facebook groups. Get your birth certificate apostilled before you come. Make sure you have all your documents in order and in place. Google and research everything, and brush up on your Spanish. Also, just be prepared to pivot, be able to adapt to different situations, because stuff is going to come up, and Mexico is going to test you once you get here. Like, do you really want to be here? So just make sure that you do your research on what part of Mexico you even would want to be in. And other than that, like, maybe have one person to come with you to be like your support, because I came when I was 7 months pregnant by myself and with my cat, and that was it. I was by myself, and I had 3 luggages. I did hire a driver eventually to help me like with my luggages and moving around, but definitely just those things. The last question is, would you do it again? And I would say yes. Like, my experience was not a bad experience at all. I would definitely have somebody like come with me. Everything turned out and worked out like better than I expected. Thank God for that. Any other questions that you may have, you can either comment below or you can DM me on Instagram. And my Instagram will be linked below as well. So that is all. If you have any more questions, comments, make sure you like, share, subscribe. Let me know what you think. Adios. Ciao, amigos.